life is short. You know, you never know what's going to be around the corner. You know, my life changed because I opened my front door. You know, it's a very basic look at what happened, but it did. I opened my front door, my life changed. You know, whereas now I've known, you know, you don't be happy, live your life, don't slave away. Do, you know, enjoy life. You don't know what's going to be around the corner, good or bad. You know, there's more to life. If it wasn't for my son, I would never have pulled through the attack. I wouldn't be here today if I hadn't had a son. I think that point is the point that changes everything. Not the attack. It showed how important my son was to me. And I kind of regret working so much before I got attacked now, missing so much of his life, although it was early days, but still.
You say business was your passion before. What's your passion right now?
Still business. I'm just slowly working my way back to it. My family is my ultimate passion now. We've just had our second son, and it's, yeah, we're a family of four. It feels like our family are complete, and this year's just like a whole new chapter.
Are you happy right now in your life?
Oh, very. I was recently asked at a fundraising event we were doing a presentation. Someone asked me if you could choose your life before your attack or choose your life now, which life would you choose? And it really caught me off guard. It was not a question I'm used to answering, and I couldn't answer it. Which I left there and I was puzzled, right? And it made me realise how happy I am with my life now, and I literally cannot choose between the two lives, and they're two very different lives, two very separate. You know, life is good now. It's not what I expected, not what I had planned, but it's good. I carry very little stress, no anger, I could quite happily talk to my attacker if it was needed. I'd lose no sleep over him. It's a strange scenario. I would never have thought I'd be like this.
How to stay happy, because lots of people, they struggle with depression as well. So.
I've been there. There's been times where, you know, I've really been at rock bottom. There's no doubt about it. It hasn't always been an easy ride, especially for like the first year after the attack. A very lengthy investigation, but a huge amount of stress, lots of stress in our marriage. It hasn't always been easy. But to deal with trauma, to deal with anything, I think the first step was realising that you have to chisel out little moments of normality. You know, these, for me and my wife, these started when we were lying in intensive care unit. I wasn't in intensive care unit. She would come in and watch trashy TV with me for half an hour in the evenings. Those little moments of what you would do in your normal life and fighting to chisel those out were kind of the first way of dealing with what we were going through.
What was the most difficult moment?
The most difficult moment, the biggest challenge I had to overcome was my son seeing me, because he was 18 months old at the time. Me and my wife made a decision that he wasn't to come near the hospital. I was in the hospital for over 2 months, and no matter what, he did not need to come to the hospital. He can be with family, he can be fed, he has toys and love. He needs nothing more. He doesn't need to come to the hospital. So I spent that time lying in a hospital bed, really concerned about how at that point I hadn't seen myself. And even when I saw myself, it was about a month after the attack, when I actually got in front of a mirror. Up to that point, wherever I'd been, doctors and nurses had covered over anything that's reflective to make sure that I would only see myself when I wanted to. And when I first saw myself, it was okay. I was very red-faced. But that was before scarring. What people overlook is there's a big difference between burns and scarring. Burns, you don't look too bad. It's red, it's sore, it's scabby, but it's not bad. Scarring doesn't start settling in for like months afterwards, you know. And I looked much worse a year later than I did like 2 weeks after the attack because of the scarring then had formed. But going back to Theo, I was lying in a hospital bed, thinking all the time, you know, you have little to do in a hospital bed in that scenario. And you kind of create this monster in your head, and it got bigger and bigger, and it was all about how would Theo recognise me? How would he react when he saw me? And after I got out of hospital, about 2.5 months after the attack, I was residing in a family home in Cornwall. My peer, my wife, went and got Theo from her mum's, where he'd been staying for a short while, and brought him down to see me. And it was a huge day, and it's probably still one of the most. It'd be one of the most prominent days of my life that day. I went out of the house and met my wife in the drive, and she got Theo out of the car. And Theo looked at me and then just grabbed my wife, and I was like kind of hiding by her legs, and my heart sank. It was like all my worst nightmares all coming true. Like, it was horrible. But when I started speaking, he knew it was me. Straight away, he knew it was me, and he stuck his arms out and hung on to me. And he didn't let go of me for almost an hour. And my son doesn't give hugs, just doesn't do it. It was the most prominent day, most distressing moment, but potentially one of the best moments of my life straight after.
Did he say anything?
I can't recall. He wasn't talking much at that stage, so I got nothing that I can recall. There's a lot more than one victim in this scenario, you know, and this is what I talk out about when I'm campaigning. You know, it's not just me that's been affected, and especially early days when I was in a coma, I had the easy part. You know, my family who didn't know whether I'd survive, they were the ones who really they were the ones having to do the real hard work. It was easy lying in a hospital bed sometimes compared to the stuff they had to go through. But my wife was there. She saw it all. She ran through the acid. Her feet were burnt. She had to see her son taken away from her by the police. Like, she had been through her own ordeal, and her story is never given the light it really deserves.
Do you feel it made your marriage stronger?
We are stronger now than we ever have been, and there's no doubt about that.
How long you been together?
Ooh, actually, I know, 12 years.
Wow.
12 years, 12 years September.
What would you like to change about the world?
Where do you start with that? A lot. Yeah, ultimately, I think any aspect which is going to help the longevity of our planet. You know, the pollution, the climate change, the plastic. You know, it's great. Recently, we've seen such a change in attitude with plastic waste and single-use plastic. You know, things like that to make sure that my son's sons and his sons, or daughters, if they're daughters, my son's children, their children, sons. I want for my son's children, their children to be able to grow up in a world which isn't heavily polluted. It's still here, you know. You just want it to be good for the future generations of your family.
What is your biggest dream right now?
Not so much a dream, but I want my family life to continuing as it is. This year, after having Lazarus, our second son, it feels like our family's complete. I would just like to continue as we are, really. You know, keep moving forward. If I could get back doing events and festivals like I used to, that would be an amazing achievement for me. But I would only do that if I knew I could give it my all. And if I couldn't, I wouldn't do it.
What was the biggest lesson that life gave you so far?
Life is short. You know, you never know what's going to be around the corner. You know, my life changed because I opened my front door. You know, It's a very basic look on what happened, but it did. I opened my front door, my life changed. You know. Whereas now I've known, you know, you don't be happy, live your life, don't slave away. Do you know, enjoy life. You don't know what's going to be around the corner, good or bad.
What's your fear? The biggest fear?
Hard questions today. My biggest fear. Biggest fear would be losing my children, not being the family we are. You know, it's the greatest thing to have in my life. If it wasn't for having Theo, I would not be here today. There's no doubt about it. Life is what you make of it, no matter what hurdles are thrown in your way. It's about surrounding yourself with the right people and making the right decisions and getting through any scenario you can.